Welcome to the 67th episode of News Dump. Do you want to elaborate there, sir? Brought to you by Summit Funding, where we run through the hottest topics in the Lewis County news scene and discuss. I'm Chronicle Associate Editor Aaron VanTuyl, joined by the bad art friend Eric Schwartz and Little Lord Frank Leroy.
Yeehaw!
Gentlemen,
I don't get my reference.
It's a Twitter thing. You'd have to read. It was a New York Magazine.
You're
story.
so hip.
I know. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
New York Magazine. Look at this guy.
I didn't read the story. I just saw the summaries of it and thought it was funny. But the title of it was The Bad Art Friend, and it made me think of you.
Oh, well. Are we going to have a moment of silence for the tornado victims today?
Yeah, I thought we should mention that. Fill me in on this tornado as I was working all day.
Well, I mean, videos started to hit social media this afternoon of what was called a funnel cloud, and that's spotted in Chehalis and Centralia. A lot of people were concerned. So I had Mr. Rosane give a call to the National Weather Service in Seattle, and they informed us that it is nothing more than, quote, a funky-looking cloud.
Oh, big weather doesn't want to tell you about the tornado
I know.
settling around Lewis County.
It certainly looks like a funnel cloud.
It
but,
looks scary, but
it's,
when they say funky looking cloud,
yeah, it looks like the sky has a tail, which is how I would describe tornadoes.
That's the definition of a tornado. Sky tails.
So we did have a couple truthers who think that we're incorrect and that it actually was a tornado. We will never know. There was one in Battleground like 2 weeks ago. But
yeah, naturally the local newspaper, if a tornado hit, would jump on the way to just cover it up and not tell anybody.
I've never even got to cover a real tornado. There was like a funnel cloud in Tenino a couple years ago. But usually we always call and we send them the pictures and video and they poo-poo it.
They're like, not a tornado.
Big weather up in
Sorry.
Seattle, thinking they can only call the shots.
All right. It's Wednesday, October 13th, and you guys missed one hell of a show at the casket races in Bucota. It was lovely.
We promised to be there too, didn't we?
we tried going.
did.
We tried going, but unfortunately,
Those
I
tornadoes
had some
stopped us.
family matters to take care of at a pumpkin patch.
Yes, great.
I just stayed home alone.
Yeah, I remember I messaged you, and you're like, oh, the power's out. I was like, why does that prevent you from leaving the house?
Well, there's a power surge. I don't know.
What if it comes back on?
I gotta sit here and flip the light switch every 10 seconds until I know.
We did have live video from Jared Winselberger, the Nightcrawler, and it looked like a great time.
It did.
Casket races were cool, yeah.
Tenino Mayor Wayne Fournier and his daughter were among the winning team.
They were on the
Mayor's
runner-up
Cup.
team?
Oh, I thought they were in the winning team for the Mayor's Cup.
Oh, for the Mayor's Cup, maybe. They were second place.
Well, that's the big one, Aaron. The Mayor's Cup is the one that counts.
Yep.
Well, they were second in the casket races I saw. So,
Who
there
won?
you go.
Who was first?
The Joe's Tavern team.
And that's like a second year run-in or something like that?
I think it's second year, third time they've won it overall, maybe. So, a real dynasty going out there in Bucota for
You
the
have
Joe's
to wonder
Tavern
if
team.
it's like a home field advantage thing. Like after they shut down the bar every night, they do some casket runs, bobsledding style out front.
The
Yeah,
chunk
they probably
of,
practice.
The chunk of street they were running it on, one side was notably faster than the other.
Do they have to? How did they pick who got what side?
I don't know. I think they just kind of rolled them out there and take whatever side you're on, and there you go. But
Did any of them fall apart?
no, none of them did.
Interesting.
Since we're so great at committing to things and sticking to it, I think that our podcast should have a casket in next year's races.
100%, we will have one.
It'd be great.
I think
Great
we should
marketing.
Yep, I think we should put the effort in.
Yeah.
Why stop there, though? What about the bed races?
Yeah.
The bed races in Morton, sure. And an all-around race team, get it together.
We should have a race team.
There was a comment
I'll be the jockey.
There was a comment on Nightcrawler's races, casket races photos that said, rather a broad interpretation of casket, in quotes, or has being buried in a cardboard box become all the rage lately. I guess that's an indicator of how well our economy is doing. An average casket costs between $2,000 and $5,000, but some caskets can sell for as much as $10,000 or more.
What a Debbie Downer. Jeez.
Yeah,
Negative Nelly.
He observed the technical details of casket races, but not the spirit.
No, I think he missed that. Jeez, dead last in spirit, I would say.
Yeah.
There was a dead last award, too, which I thought was appropriate.
There was, yeah. And there was one race that started out where there was a casket ran by, it looked like parents and a child. Mm-hmm. And the people manning the other team, as soon as the race started, two of them jumped from their team and helped push the other one to victory.
Interesting.
A real own on their teammates.
Yeah, that's something.
And then they yell, hey, we won.
Yeah, they did. It was great.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time there.
I enjoyed the casket races. Yeah,
with no company.
I feel like I missed something.
The girlfriend and I went and had a lovely time at the casket races.
What a flex!
Yeah, that sounds good to know you.
Got a girlfriend.
It's good to see you guys are still together though.
How's things are going well. She's doing great.
Good.
Yeah, things are good.
Good.
She was very disappointed you guys weren't there.
Is she a listener of the podcast?
Yes, she is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 then.
Yeah. Yes. Your significant others, they big listeners of the podcast?
No.
Mine, as I've stated many times, has no interest in my work.
Yep.
That's
And
probably
mine
for
tells
the
me
best.
she hears me talk enough at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, news items. The first one is a rather serious item. Schwartz, do you want to discuss this one?
Sure. This one is rather serious, but this was kind of like a hopeful angle on it, I guess. There's been 2 recent suicides and students at WF West High School. And a lot of people seem to not know this, but journalistic standards kind of dictate that we don't report on suicides. It's treated more as a personal matter. What we will report on is when things like this happen, and this was last week and then into this week. I think people are still doing it. The parents, community members, and school staff are standing out front at the entrance of the school with supportive signs for the students. Self-love isn't selfish is one of them. Be kind to your mind is another. And I think it was, it doesn't take any of the sadness away from the situation, but at least, the district and the students know that they're supported.
Yeah, it was nice to see in a very sad situation something like that happen afterwards.
I think, too, it grew from just one woman standing out there and doing it last week because we got a letter to the editor on Friday about it, and then by Saturday the district had shared a photo of the woman holding the sign, and so it kind of grew out of that. But I don't know. It's always a tough thing to report on. We try to use them as opportunities to share resources. So at the bottom of the story is a whole lot of websites, phone numbers, people you can call if you're having a mental health crisis.
Great.
Written by Emily Fitzgerald, right?
Yep.
All right, our next news item, community leaders honored at Economic Alliance of Lewis County banquet, and you guys both attended this, didn't
Talking
you?
about missing a party.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that was wild. It was a great time.
Where'd you wake up?
Not at my house.
So, yeah, this was the Economic Alliance of Lewis County. This is formerly the EDC, right?
Yeah, up until just like last week, I think officially, it was the Lewis County. And we're going to have to be saying that forever now. I realize that every time we write the Economic Alliance of Lewis County, we're going to have to do like a long hyphen, formerly the EDC.
Yep.
But no, it was a good banquet, and it fit the number 1 parameter for me at these banquets.
Open bar?
Well, number 2 is it doesn't run long. And they didn't run long. They kept the trains running on time.
They did a great job. Yep.
That's one thing I always enjoyed about the Lewis County Athlete of the Year banquets. You just knock those things out. There was no banquet involved.
It's a list read.
Yeah.
You grab some snacks
those
on
are
your
the
way
best
out.
kind. So at this one, they announced the Gary Stamper Scholarship for East Lewis County students going into education, which is very cool. They got some big donations there. That'll help some kids get to school. And also, they gave a bunch of awards out. The Gail and Carolyn Shaw Industry Award was presented to Dan Rich, former chair of both the EDC and Centralia Community Foundation. Richard DeBolt also awarded him a Tommy Bahama flask and sunglasses with a bottle opener to celebrate his retirement.
It's important to mention that the bottle opener was part of the sunglasses, so you can kind of put it up to your temple and crack it open.
Oh,
How
naturally.
cool is that? I had no idea they
Real,
made such a
real
thing.
thoughtful gift.
That is awesome.
What did Richard present this like? Now, Dan, we know you like to drink, so
No, it was well done, and
It was
I
very
think
well
Dan
done.
Rich is a great speaker too. I think he's
he
a
is.
funny guy.
The Russ Money Recreation Resource Award went to John Vigry, owner of Home Carpet Warehouse, former sponsor of the best podcast in Lewis County history. Let's Take About It.
Current sponsor of the best sports section in Chronicle history, the Chronicles.
And also where I got my flooring for my house.
Yeah.
Wow. You know they do
Excellent
cabinets too, right?
If you're not going to Home Carpet Warehouse to get your flooring, I don't know what to tell you. You're a lost cause.
You are, and it means you enjoy wasting money.
Yeah.
You enjoy paying more for the same
Break
product.
it out into a commercial.
Anyway, he has also volunteered for the Coastal Conservation Association since it was established, I want to say 15 years ago. I
Yeah,
think
that's
I
about right.
covered some of that when it started up. So, yeah, great award for him. The Economic Alliance Award was given to Becky Butler, Lewis County's budget manager, who helped the EDC with distributing American Resource Plan Act money. And for the first year, the Debbie Campbell Community Commitment Award was awarded to Debbie Campbell.
You got to do it. You got to
gotta
do it. It has to be. That's how
gotta
Russ
do it.
Money Award started as well. Yeah, we gave him an award of his own name.
What if they'd given it to somebody else?
That would have been a real shot across
Real-
Debbie Campbell's bow.
Real awkward.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, so what awards would you guys like to see the Economic Alliance give out in the future?
Best newspaper.
The
And again. No, I thought that they are adding quite a bit of awards show. It's becoming more of an awards banquet, I feel like, than just a banquet, which is fine. I have no problem with awards. It's like give out as many as you can. You could do like a volunteer of the year, but that kind of fits civil or community commitment award. So
Can they just roll them in with the Chronicle Best Lewis County Awards and just have twice the party?
sounds like a good time to me.
like a good time to
As
me,
long as
yes.
it's not twice the length of the banquet.
And yeah, on a scale of community events, from 2006 Chronicle Christmas Party being a 1 and 2017 Chronicle Christmas Party being a 10, where would you rank this one?
Jeez, that's the most odd scale ever. I think it goes backwards. I don't know how to score that one. It was fun.
Out of 10, I give it a 10.
All right, great.
It was good, and they raised a bunch of money for the United Learning Center. It was amazing. And then to circle back to the Gary Stamper Scholarship Fund, that's going to go to an East Lewis County student. But not only that, an East Lewis County student that is getting a later start because, as Richard DeBolt put it, Gary Stamper did not get his pursuit of education until he lost a digit, I believe, a finger in a mill.
Oh,
Yeah,
He said it funnier than you.
yeah, he did. I'm not a public speaker.
No, that was
all right.
That's a good, and I think they've already raised quite a bit for that scholarship. But if you still do want to donate, I believe you can call the Economic Alliance.
Oh, I'm
of
sure
Lewis
you
County
can.
and keep
Yeah, they did
donating
a
that.
raise the paddle type thing, and if you're willing to give $1,000, stand up and do it. And there was quite a few people that
All right.
were willing to do that.
Our next item, board moves forward with Skookumchuck Dam studies, removal under consideration. So the Chehalis Basin Board has approved studies to see if any modifications or perhaps a removal of the TransAlta-owned Skookumchuck Dam would benefit water storage or stream flow for fish species. So they might take the dam out, but also maybe they won't.
I don't know. This feels like a, hey, we'll take this dam down if you let us move it over to the Chehalis River.
Yes, a portable dam.
They're just going to lift it and move it.
And
Like it's heavier than
TransAlta,
that.
yeah, TransAlta owns the dam, and they're sort of saying like, we're not doing anything.
No, I think
We're
that they're
fine?
saying they're open to suggestions
Okay.
because they're not going to really need it anymore after they shut off their other burner, I guess, for lack of a better word.
So the dam produces 1 megawatt of energy. I don't know how often it produces that 1 megawatt. It was curiously left out of the story. That is enough energy to power the average American home for 1.2 months, power light bulbs for a year, smelt 137 pounds of aluminum. You guys big smelters?
So it doesn't like...
I've never
probably-
smelted anything.
Toast 89,000 slices of bread.
Oh, wow.
Run an average home pool pump for 5 months. I'm sure that's near and dear to your heart, Schwartz,
It
as
is
a pool man.
as a pool owner.
Drive an electric car for 3,600 miles. But that's small potatoes for Old Man TransAlta, who obviously only drives
it's
coal-powered
not-
cars.
It's not a whole lot of power at all. Yeah,
No, it's not.
I don't know. It's also really hard to get to. I've never been there.
Yeah, I actually did. Are we in the trust tree here?
You don't know where it's at.
I don't know where it's at.
It's on the Skookumchuck River, Aaron.
Well, no shit.
I think you could deduce that.
I know it's
I
upriver.
also have no idea where it's placed.
I realize it's upriver from my house somewhere. But beyond that, like,
Put on your scuba gear and swim up.
I'm just
Yeah, just march up the river. You'll
March
you'll
up
hit
the
it
river.
eventually.
gonna swim right by Schaefer Park and
Like-
just keep going.
They said it was somewhere around here.
Where's the dam? So do you guys think that TransAlta is getting tired of local entities just popping in every few months to be like, hey, we're doing some stuff and we're going to tell you how to take care of your stuff, and you want to give us that?
It feels like the kids and grandkids claiming Grandpa's stuff because
It
he's on
does,
his
yeah.
deathbed.
Yeah.
But Grandpa's still alive.
Exactly.
He's like,
Don't touch my dam.
yeah, you think Old Man TransAlta's like, hey, why don't you kids piss off? Yeah, Old Man TransAlta, a hero of this podcast.
Old Man TransAlta is going to give the dam to his much younger girlfriend. That's my suggestion. That's what's going to happen.
I'm trying to think who that would be in this analogy.
Don't think it out. Just let it be.
Who could it be?
All right, next item. Tenino Family Dental Center will buy back Halloween candy through November 8th, but they're only offering $3 a pound, and that seems low. Bulk candy, like the stuff you fill your own bag with at the store, is around $12 a pound. So I will offer $4 a pound for anybody that wants to bring in bulk Halloween candy. It has to be uneaten, still in the package, and you can't bring me like a bunch of jujubes and raisins.
Okay, and you can't take any of that back. I've got 5 years worth of Halloween candy stored away at my house.
This year's
Oh,
Halloween
you won't
crop.
be able to tell.
Why do you have 5 years worth of Halloween
Because
candy?
we never finish it all, so we just dump it into a bucket.
Wasn't that Snickers
and move
logo
on.
like 5 years old? No.
Why don't you just leave it outside for the kids the next year?
No, it's on the top shelf up in the pantry.
All right.
Now we know.
Yeah, it's actually, and this is a pro tip for anyone out there. You collect your extra Halloween candy this year, you don't have to buy anything to hand out to the kids next year.
Yeah, that's
Do
a
you
great
get
deal.
a lot of trick-or-treaters?
Not a lot, but they come through.
Yeah.
I have never had one.
Because you live down the creepiest roadway. Like,
yeah.
It looks like a haunted house. And
by
you have
design.
like a hideous dog.
We have yet to get one. We have yet to get one.
Not one?
I think our hill is too steep. They don't want to work hard.
Nah.
Wow. Frank, it must be nice, Franklin.
They don't want to work hard.
You should give them,
Kids
like,
these
if
days
you ever
don't wanna
do
work
get
for
them,
candy.
give them a protein bar.
Go over, like, hey, here's a water. Good
Just
luck.
give him a case of beer.
Who's gonna pay me $3 a pound?
We're gonna check in with Tenino Family Dental though after they do that this year. We never follow up because they've done this for a few years to find out like how much did they end up collecting and
That's a
paying
pretty
out.
cool PR stunt.
Yeah,
Are they
it is.
gonna burn the candy? Throw the candy away?
They give it to kids that come in with no cavities.
I don't.
Oh,
think
they
that's
put it in a
what-
little treasure chest.
The circle of life. Yeah.
That's what they. I don't think that's what they're doing.
Franklin, how long ago was the last time you took something out of the treasure chest of the dentist?
Last week,
Very recently.
very recently, I got a toothbrush.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's okay. We've got a dangerous dog update from the dad board.
Been some bad dogs out there.
There has been some bad dogs. This one was, there was 2 pit bulls really getting a guy's goats in Alaska. And he said he would have shot them if there wouldn't have been a kid there. So instead he fired into the ground.
I thought that was a very mature decision by that person.
Well, he's a 70-year-old man, so yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think there's a lot of 70-year-old men that would have just loaded it with lead anyhow.
Yeah. Anyway, the 2 pit bulls were Buddy and Bandit, and I haven't read through the whole story to see what they decided on the dogs.
They never really tell us because there's deliberation afterwards and there's additional steps and appeals and things like that. But we don't know at this point if they're actually going to euthanize the dog, which I don't know if you know this, Aaron, but that means kill the dog.
In this situation, do the dogs still go home,
Do you mean
or do they keep the dogs?
I
Do
think
you mean did they go to the special farm?
I think it's
still
a
haven't found
case
that
by
one.
case basis. I don't know.
No. So is there a place they hold the dogs in this situation, or do the dogs just stay at home until
I think normally they're at the shelter.
the shelter? Okay.
Yeah, it's not like they just show up unannounced for a surprise euthanasia.
Yeah. Well,
They should just call this the Hank the Tank Memorial Dad Board, by
They
the way.
should, yeah.
Because that's what started all this. And I don't know of another newspaper that actively reports on its bad dogs. So I'm very proud of that.
It's a
We
If
cover
you're a
it.
dog and you're in this community, you better be a good dog. Or we
Yeah.
will put you in the paper.
they name the dogs and everything.
I think we should start doing like mug shots of the dogs. But
that would be awesome.
I think the board's a really good idea, and not just because of the Hank the Tank situation, which I think most people know about or they can look up.
It wasn't Hank the Tank. It was Hank
No, I
slash
know.
Tank.
Hank became the Tank. Tank became Hank, and the former public health director decided just let the dog go, and then there was a whole court case, and
there was a thing.
what a mess that was. But no, I think it's a good system because the second one that you didn't mention was a little girl that got bit, I believe, in the face by a dog, and those dogs need to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Can't escape the law.
No, not even if you're a dog. Our last news item, Washington Secretary of State holding mock election through November 2nd for public school students.
Mock election?
Yes. Franklin,
There's a joke here, isn't there?
Are you going to make they're all mock elections, man?
I was
We're just
going to
gonna
say,
go, wait,
yeah.
what do you?
Didn't we just have one of these in 2020, Aaron?
I wasn't going to say that. That's funny that you say that, though, Eric.
I don't believe that. No.
So students get to participate in the mock election and vote on actual races and measures, including fictional issues pertinent to their daily lives, which sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that
Whoever
would
gets
be
to write
fun.
those up. Fictional issues like vote yes on I-525 to declare Kyler sus. I don't envy the teachers once the first "why the election was stolen" comment hits the classroom.
That's true.
But no, I think it's a good program to teach kids about the election, and I would like to see what the fictional issues are. Hopefully, they're hilarious.
Yeah,
Kyler sus.
if your name's Kyler, I'm sorry, but it's sus. It just is
Very sus.
That's also above the law. Yeah, no, it's a fine program. I hope it reinstills some support or some belief in our election system, which I believe in. But I have a feeling you're going to have kids showing up from like different households where various things are being said, various television shows are being watched, and it's probably going to make for some interesting conversations.
Will we be covering the elections?
The mock elections? I don't think so. It's one of those things where if you want to take part, you got to be like a teacher and you contact Secretary of State's office and they'll give you all the materials you need to do it in your classroom.
Fair enough.
How are things going into your guys' house?
We got to get a different angle on this.
Because things at mine, not great.
No?
I keep hearing like groaning at all hours of the night.
It's your dog, Ralph.
It's not from Ralph this time. I keep getting phone calls. It's just like a husky voice being like, "Do you want to play a game?"
That sounds like a problem.
I got skeletons falling out of all my closets.
Yeah, you got issues, man.
Ralph keeps digging up human feet.
Oh, gosh.
There's these old VHS tapes laying around, and I play them, and it's just a girl crawling out of a well.
It sounds like Halloween decorations.
Every time I close the medicine cabinet, I think I see a ghost next to me in the mirror. I jump. My roommate is Freddy Krueger.
Oh, boy.
I got a bad case of haunted house, you guys.
It sounds like it.
Do you? But I found a house I like better. What should I do? Do you guys have any ideas?
I don't know where to start.
Yeah, you need to get a paranormal team to move through it first. Make sure you're not moving from one ghost situation to another.
You know, I feel like Eric Roseanne would know a good paranormal team.
Yeah.
But
I
he's
think
not
so.
who we're talking about today. We're talking about our friend.
Who are you going to call?
After I call the Ghostbusters, I'm going to call Jason Gillespie over at Summit Funding. They're the home loan experts. He'll hook you up with everything you need and explain the process of home financing. You can call him at 330-4037. That's his office number. I might fax him a picture of the ghosts and be like, "Hey, man, but
Is this a problem?
can I refinance based on this ghost?" You can fax him at 360-205-4099. Email him at GillespieTeam, GILLISPIE team at summitfunding.net. Or maybe I'll take the ghost down and haunt his office at 1616 South Gold Street in Centralia. And I will use promo code DeuceDump and get 50% off my next haunted house.
Thanks to Summit Funding.
Yeah, thank you, Summit Funding.
Yeah.
We're going to work on our ads.
You say "we" like. You guys
It's
ready for you guys ready for Tales from the Takes page?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
This one was an interesting ride. So Julia McDonald wrote about murals that draw selfie photographers and parking lot design that spurs complaints over in Chehalis. There was a lot to unpack here. The Chehalis community
Seemed fairly straightforward.
Yeah, it really. Well, I mean, you got to start with.
Just unpack.
All right, there's the Chehalis
Unpack it.
Community Renaissance team has been putting murals up in a few spots around downtown to make it pretty. We're all in favor, I think. Right? Correct?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I told you my Mount Rushmore idea.
Yeah. One of them is lifting up Chehalis, which are wings on the side of the M&K Town Store, and I can't stop imagining Jerry Lord standing outside his store, either like doing a fairy pose in front of the wings or just leering at tourists, both of which are hilarious. They also put a mural on the side of the Market Street Bakery, which is cool. And there's plans for a floral mural on the cement wall in the city parking lot behind Market Street Bakery. However, the owners of the San Juan Arms apartment building, the old St. Helens Hotel building, and the people that own a building on the other end of a secret tunnel that starts in that alley they didn't like the ideas for the mural. Not a fan. Joe Kaner?
I think it's Keener.
Keener. She owns a San Juan apartment building, said, "I don't feel a connection with the artwork there. It doesn't tell a story. It doesn't fit to me." And she also said it could be offensive to people and wants the whole thing painted one solid color. What do you guys think?
That's where they want the floral mural?
Yeah. But she just wants it to be one color.
Curious why the floral mural is offensive. Like, did she get like a sneak peek and there was like something offensive? Like, the flowers were
visibly
shaped.
offensive. Like it didn't really meld with the rest of the building. And that they were already going for a theme of some sort, and it doesn't really fit. It is very small potatoes, I would say, and I bet you anything they'll figure it out. Last I heard, after this column came out, they were messing with the color scheme. I was fascinated by the comments it elicited, and there were a lot of people like going after Miss Keener.
There were,
and I'm just like, if you're just you own the building, you have a right to say what you think about the art that's going on the side of it.
Yeah. The thing that cracked me up was she just wanted the whole thing painted one solid color, which first of all, that doesn't tell a story. And it kind of sounds like she just wants some volunteers to paint the alley to match her book.
Oh, come on.
Like, hey, just paint it one solid color. By the way, this is my Pantone.
Like, yeah. Apparently they cleaned up the alley behind the San Juan Arms, and they're proud of how the alley looks, and kids go get their pictures taken there, which is all well and good. But I feel like this probably came up before too.
I don't know. It's one of those Julie McDonald columns. She attended the meeting, thought it was interesting, thought she would share it with others. Her columns aren't really opinions a lot of times. She just goes and kind of reports on things that we miss, frankly, or that we're just not around for or don't staff. And I thought it was an interesting little peek into the Chehalis Renaissance team and their discussion, but I don't know. There was other people. Randy Mueller was there from Port of Chehalis, and he spoke out in support. And I think what he said was probably the truest thing of all. It's just like, no one's ever going to agree on this stuff. Like, you're always going to have somebody that's like, that looks awful.
Randy was like, what if you painted a dude with just some jacked arms, like cranking out reps at the curls?
Yeah, like he looked like me. He looked like me, but what if you painted him?
Anyway, I thought it was just one of those interesting, like, slice of small town life stories about in quotes, controversy about painting a mural on a public building.
As a guy who has spent some time in downtown Chehalis in my years, since moving to the Twin Cities in 2003, I am going to say that whatever happens will not be the worst thing that has happened in that alley.
Yeah, I was going to make a similar joke. But any amount of paint you throw on that will be an improvement, no matter what it is depicting.
Yeah, I remember several years ago, the police department would kind of hang out in the alleys back there and wait for the bars to close because people would relieve themselves in the alley, and we get a lot of public urination citations and sirens around that time. Maybe they solved the issue.
Speaking of sirens, we have our People's Champion of the Week, which comes from a sirens-esque story this week. The People's Champion is the person who kicked the knife away from a would-be attacker.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, just kicked it out of the way there.
Yeah.
The story's loading, sorry.
That's
Man
okay.
accused of threatening 4 victims with a knife outside Centralia business. And this was 900 block of Harrison Avenue, which would be, the 7-Eleven, AM, PM, whatever
Yeah, I
it is
think
up
so.
there?
Somewhere around there.
According to victims, the subject approached the 4 victims asking about getting some coke and rambling about some other things, and then allegedly became aggressive and chest bumped one of the victims before he pulled a knife and held it so the blade was pointing at the victims. That's the most dangerous way to hold a knife.
I never hold a knife that way.
And then one of the victims knocked the knife out of the subject's hands, and then he ran away.
Yeah, and they caught him a block or so down the road, and he's in jail now, $100,000 bail. So yeah, you guys all said kicked the knife out of his hand. It says knocked here, so
Yeah, it does say knocked, sorry.
When I picture it in my head, it just seems like it would be a kick.
Oh yeah, definitely drop kick.
Yeah.
Like, what an impressive move, though. You knock the knife out of the dude's hand, he's like, oh, I'm going to pull a knife on you. You knock the knife out of his hand, he's like, wow, good move, and takes off.
Ah, man, now there's 4 of you and 1 of me.
I already told Franklin this story. I went to procure a Tacos El Rey burrito yesterday, and when I pulled up and parked up front on Tower there was a gentleman standing on the sidewalk just screaming, like, only words I picked up were pedophile, demon, and hell, and he had a big stick with a sharpened point on it, and so I, circled around the building. I was like, I'll park over here and come in this way. And he was screaming and he sees me, and then all of a sudden he's completely lucid, and he's just like, hey man, can I have $1? I was like, I got no cash on me. And he just starts slamming his stick on the ground. I don't know.
Well,
It's like Gandalf, you shall not pass.
I stayed in Tacos El Rey for a solid 15 minutes waiting for him to leave, and one of Centralia's finest came and parked on the road there, and he left.
Huh, all right.
Please, useful. What about that,
Happy
Aaron?
ending. Happy ending.
I love he goes from yelling and sees him. Hey man, can I get $1?
I know, it was really weird. He
just wanted $1, man.
if I had it, I would have given it to him. Trust me.
Sirens banger of the week. Man charged for allegedly stealing City of Centralia vehicle and crashing it into hotel. Seattle man was fresh out of the hospital on Sunday when he swiped a city vehicle and crashed it into the hotel in Harrison, whatever it is, just past AutoZone there. The man said he had found the vehicle in Borse Park in Centralia and taken it. And the poor city employee in charge of the vehicle was closing up the parks at night and left the keys in the console when he ran into his apartment. The end. The man is being held on $25,000 bail.
Yeah, pretty wild. Don't leave your keys in the car, though, man. Come on.
Yeah. Come on now.
Do you ever worry about Trent or Alec leaving the keys to the Cronmobile? And
well, we got a
the
fleet
console?
now,
Yeah, we have a
and
fleet.
I don't know if you've noticed, but we've got, what, 3 vehicles? 4 vehicles?
We got 3 vehicles.
Yeah. CT Publishing on the side.
damn.
Yeah. Better not get stolen. Hands off.
Yeah, hands off.
You guys ready? Do we have it? Do we have one?
Sure, I've got one.
You got a burn of the week?
Yeah, burn of the week is actually a burn on the Chronicle this week.
Ooh.
From a visitor in the form of a letter to the editor that will be in Thursday's paper. It's from Gail Bronner, Port Angeles. I won't read the whole letter. I'll try to summarize it here. She came south because she was picking up her new puppy. So she stopped in Centralia, and as one does, picked up an October 7th copy of the Chronicle.
Was the puppy Buddy or Bandit?
Doesn't have a name. It could have been, though, yeah. And she was struck by the incongruities in the articles and support for extremists in the area. And she said, from factual reporting on the uptick of COVID-19 cases and other news in your county to the former Lewis County Sheriff promoting misinformation about COVID-19 determined to spur people to agitation, to the paper's biased and inflated editorial opinion piece, rally against mandates, an exercise in democracy, the Chronicle appears to be schizophrenic.
Wow.
I love a good burn. I love how you put that in the paper.
It was good. She took the time to, after her travels. I mean, I'm not going to begrudge her
She's
opinion.
earned it.
I mean, I ended up titling it "Commentary News Coverage Doesn't Match on COVID-19" because that's really what she's pointing out is, and I wouldn't even call it disinformation. At worst, probably some misinformation. I'm not going to insult the sheriff, McCroskey, but anyways, I thought it was nice. We don't get many. It does happen, but travelers passing through who get home and decide they're gonna write us letters. So
But still, on the opinions page.
I enjoy
it's
the
on the
fact
opinion
that
page.
she
It's on the
came
opinion
from
page.
out of town and stopped in town and purchased a local newspaper to read.
read the whole thing. She said,
Yeah, I have
is
done
awesome.
that on occasion. It's a nice little treat when you're on vacation. You're out of town.
Yeah, I agree.
and it was a good letter too. It's kind of like an outsider's perspective on your community. We don't get too many shots to get that in the paper, anyways.
Yeah.
You can read it on Facebook all the time.
Speaking of Facebook.com/Cronline comments of the week. This was on a Cronline story about Arbor Health's Get the Vax Facts online forum. The comment was, "You don't need to go to the Arbor Health Get the Vax Facts. They're all right here, and it's not good." I disagree. On a letter about Snaza/Swope being self-serving, the comment was, "Chronicle editorial staff, why have you buried this letter to the editor rather than waiting to give it a brief period on the front page? This is a shameful abuse of
Was
editorial
this LL
power."
Hauer? Because I got a
don't
letter
know.
from LL as well, and I actually got my dander up a bit. We post all throughout the day, but then when we get
LL
an edition
Cool Hauer?
done, we start at the back and we post it all to the front.
Yep.
And we're not going to put 15 slots for letters to the editor on the homepage. Like,
Nope.
But what I told this reader is there's a large read more button directly underneath that, and that will take you to all of the letters. So
Yeah, imagine that. You click to read more, and it's, oh my goodness,
I don't
look
know.
at all these letters.
I've
more to
never
read.
I've never heard this complaint before, but she kind of got me fired up just because she was like, if you had any decency or any journalistic integrity, and it's like
It's a
you
letter
know
to
what?
the editor.
You know,
And we put them all up there. We have 500 words. No other newspaper allows 500-word letter to the editor. That's column size.
Even better than that is that was on her. Like,
Yeah.
just, look,
Click read more.
Maybe look on the website. It's like, it's not on the homepage.
If
They're
we were-
animals.
If we weren't uploading them, I'd kind of get the point. Even not so much then. Like it's
Yeah.
we put
No, if
whatever
we
we want
didn't,
up
if
on
we
the
were to
site.
not post, yeah, sure. Okay.
But it's an easy time to mention that this is letter to the editor season. It's election season,
Ooh.
so I'm getting about 6 or 7 in every edition. I think the one she was complaining about, or he was complaining about, I'm not sure, was like 12 or 13 letters that day. So yeah, some of them you're gonna have to click for.
Yeah. This is a Facebook comment on the same letter, I think. It says, I've been disappointed by the way I've seen Swope interacting in the comments section. Not what I'd expect from a public official. Well, in this day and age, if you're a public official, you got in there and mix it up.
Yeah,
I respect him when they mix it up.
I actually do. I actually do the same. I respect him as well when he gets in there and, he should. I mean, he reads the comments.
Not just him. We've talked a lot about in this podcast about Warren McLeod, Lewis County Coroner, getting in there and mixing it up.
Yes,
and he's
absolutely.
usually hilarious.
He's got some takes. Another comment on that one. The Rhino author believes that protecting the Constitution is egotistical. Wow. I just added that because it had our favorite Rhino term in there.
Ah, yes.
Another
very,
comment.
Very frequent term lately.
I know. On the same thing, why does this paper constantly put out liberal-leaning articles? It's nothing but liberal swamp creatures trolling for support. It sickens me that so many people rather live like sheep.
See, this is where we live, where we are both liberal sheep, and we're also, what did the out-of-towner call us? The purveyors of misinformation, schizophrenic. Like, we allow all opinions on the opinion page. I'm sorry if other newspapers do not.
I love that, though. It's like, you guys suck. And then we finally write something they like. Now you're even worse.
It's just letters. Like, people want the letters to reflect everything.
And on the Chehalis art mural situation, somebody says, Joe Keener, I don't feel a connection with you. You don't tell a story. You don't fit me. That's how ridiculous this story is. First of all, it's a column.
First of all, it's a column.
And another comment, I feel like this headline is misleading. We should all read the article in full. It sounds like Joe loves all the murals in Chehalis and is simply asking for a specific mural that would be adjoined or near her existing artwork to be looked at again. Shame on the Chronicle for making her look to be the bad guy in this headline. They should do better than this.
Yes, she's looking for a mural. That's one color.
This is why I don't read the comments. They don't make no damn sense 90% of the time. It makes no damn sense.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun scrolling through these at 7 a.m.
We appreciate the commenters, though. I don't mean to disparage them.
I love
keep
the
it
comments.
coming. You know?
I love the comments.
Come up with some new takes, commenters. Come on.
Keep us honest. I like it.
At some point, I want to go through and tally up like the most prolific commenters on any given week. See like who's leading the league in comments.
Yeah, there's a few of them out there that like we'll upload we do a lot of Nation World stuff now just to the website. We don't necessarily share it on social media, but man, I'll post it and then I'll post another one, and in the 30 seconds that took, I've got a comment. I'm like, man, you just sitting there refreshing halfway down the page.
Come on, Chronicle. What do you got? What do you got, Chronicle?
Put it on the homepage, coward.
Click the read more button.
That's all we got for this episode of News Dump. But
Pick
a
up
quick one today.
Yeah, pick up a Thursday copy of the paper. We didn't really touch on anything that's in that paper. We've got sale pending on Centralia-owned decommissioned golf course property.
Oh, really?
Yeah, $1.8 million.
Up by the old armory?
Yeah.
I'll be
yeah,
damned. I
Centralia.
wonder who's buying it. Open it back up. We could be regulars. I'd buy a membership.
It's a developer of some sort, and it's pending a feasibility story. So we've got that. There's Jeremy Herrera Butler. I said that incorrectly, but Town Hall.
Jeremy Herrera Butler?
Jeremy.
Rude.
Anyways, Herrera Butler, she had a town hall last night. We have a story on that. Oakville fire, some great photos of a terrible tragedy because the house burned. No one hurt, though. And they saved a house nearby. And then we've got Centralia-based Washington orthopedics doctor returns from summer Army Reserve mission in Kuwait. Just lots of good news.
Lots of good news. That's awesome.
That's just, them's the highlights.
All right. Franklin, you got anything you want to plug?
I wish. Summit funding, baby.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode of News Dump. We will be back next Wednesday, probably with more stories about the news. And you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can, I think, rate and review on both of those spots now. And you can also get it on chronline.com. Side note, Sports Dump will be live tomorrow night, probably by 7 o'clock. So check that out, too.
They're calling it the number 2 dump in the Chronicles podcast world.
That means we're number 1, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
We'll get into that later. Thank you.